Akinterewa also received awards.
Yeah, it's a big encouragement that something that you do in private, someone somewhere sees it, and it just gives us this impetus to keep going. There's so many out of school children, and it's so sad to see them just almost wasting away.
The union's chairman, Prince Leke Adegbite, and Ondo State Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu, represented by Commissioner for Information and Orientation, Bamidele Ademola Olateju, charged the recipients to do more for humanity.
And we have a crop of dedicated, beautiful, and very conscientious and diligent journalists in Ondo State.
So I also encourage them to continue to do what they are doing for the state and the country.
The event snowballed into a moment of merry, bringing to a close the 2023 NUJ Press Week.
Motorcycle operators in Ondo State should desist from being used as instruments to disrupt the existing peace. The Senior Special Assistant to Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu on Special Duties and Strategy, Dr. Doyin Adebowale, gave a warning during a press briefing held with Ondo State ticket coordinators in Akure, the state capital. Joe report that Dr. Adebowale hinted of a raffle draw targeted at motorcyclists and tricyclists in the state.
And to ensure that those who have patronized us.
Addressing journalists in Ondo State, the Senior Special Assistant to Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu on Special Duties and Strategy, Dr. Doyin Adebowale, said the meeting was convened with ticket coordinators to address issues that could affect the peace of the state. Adebowale cautioned commercial motorcycle riders against collaborating any group to cause mayhem in the state, adding that any member found wanting will be sanctioned.
We are moving into the era of politics. And a lot is happening, and I'm not going to choose for anybody. I don't belong to any political party. And since we started, we have not in any way victimized anybody based on political affiliation. But as things are now, anyone who attends any meeting against the government, anybody who does it, will not be in my team. Anybody who allows his own unit to be used for politics will excuse us.
He emphasized that in a bid to avoid discrepancies in the sales of tickets, there will be introduction of bank tellers to curb cases of ticket racketeering. He added that the annual raffle draw for the riders, sponsored by Ondo State Internal Revenue Service, is also set to kick off.
I'm not insinuating anything, but I'm also not ruling out anything. Somebody has been caught printing, tickets, and he did it for a long while. So we will devise some means of, checking people. But we insist that the tellers must be dropped. So if there's any problem from any local government, we can say, okay, we know them. They sell for us. The serial numbers of tickets released to them are this. They represent us. So that anybody who misbehaves, we don't know criminals. As we usually do at the end of every year, the Board of Internal Revenue has given us some dates. December 18, 19, 20, 21, 23. So the raffle draw, what we do every year for the Okada riders, and now they're going to include the tricycle now. We start, and it's going to be an open thing. The board will determine how to, divide it.
Dr. Adebowale dismissed allegations that his office has not been up to its responsibilities. A ticket coordinator, Isaac Oguntimei, who spoke on behalf of the motorcyclists, pledged continued commitment to the progress of the state.
Beginning and the peaceful.
Ondo State government has been engaging and coordinating the activities of motorcyclists within the state in a bid to sustain peace and development.
That report was presented from our studio. The presidency says only few of the 1,411 Nigerian delegates who registered to attend the COP28 Climate Summit in Dubai, the United Arab Emirates, sponsored by the federal government. A statement by Senior Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Temitope Ajayi, emphasized that delegates from all countries, whether from government, private sector, media, and civil society groups, attend COP meetings, summits, and conferences as parties and are registered against their countries of origin, and this does not mean they are sponsored or funded by the government. The response follows social media uproar over the significant presence of Nigerian delegates as everyone who registered is physically present. He pointed out that because of the significance of the climate conference, stakeholders from Nigeria beyond the government are also involved. The Federal Inland Revenue Service has granted a full waiver on accumulated penalties and interest for outstanding tax liabilities. Chairman of the service, Adedeji, disclosed this in a notice personally signed and made available to newsmen through his special advisor on media, Dara Adekombi. The agency imposes penalties and interest for failure by companies to fulfill their tax obligation as and when due, as stipulated in excise tax laws. Adedeji said the forgiveness of piled-up penalties and interest is in recognition of the challenges that many taxpayers are faced in settling their outstanding tax liabilities. He explained that full payment of outstanding original tax liabilities without interest on or before the 31st of December this year must be done by companies wishing to benefit from the peculiar concession. Socioeconomic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAC, has urged the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, to use his leadership position to reject the plan by the Minister of the FCT, A.S. Wike, to spend 50 for the construction of a new residence for the Vice President, Kashim Shettima. According to the project's Deputy Director, Kolawole Uluwadare, the Senate has the constitutional duties to ensure that Mr. Wike's proposed spending is entirely consistent and compatible with constitutional provisions. SERAP urged him to assert Senate authority and constitutional oversight roles to reject the 2.8 billion naira on publicity for the FCTA and other proposed spending that may be contained in the 2023 supplementary budget and the 2024 budget. He said it would be a grave violation of the public trust and constitutional oath of office for the Senate to approve the plan to spend 15 billion naira on a new residence for the Vice President at a time when the federal government is set to spend 30% of the country's 2024 budget on debt service costs. You're still watching Osrc News at 7. Would like to take a break at this point. Do stay with us. Thank you for rejoining us. You can watch us live on our website www.osrc.ng or follow us on Facebook at Osrc TV. Ondo. Nigeria is pushing for the enhancement of regional security to guarantee peace and economic growth in West Africa. A report presented to the 2023 Second Ordinary Session of the ECOWAS Parliament by Linda Ikazu on behalf of the Nigerian delegation harps on the need for member countries to work together in addressing security challenges through various approaches. Mr. Element of Tinubu's likely ECOWAS agenda is the prioritizing of security. President Tinubu said in a speech that without a peaceful environment, progress and development in the region will continue to remain elusive. It was reported that Cape Verde, Senegal, Ivory Coast, and Gambia also presented the country's report with a key attention on regional security. The State Commandant of Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, Anambra State Command, Edwin Oswala, has ordered a probe into the alleged assault on an online journalist, Izona Okafor, by men of the State Command. In a press statement issued by the Public Relations Officer of the NSCDC, Okadibu Edwin, saying the probe is to bring anyone found complicit to book. Okafor was reportedly assaulted by some civil defense officers when he went to retrieve his mobile phone after he misplaced it in a vehicle that conveyed him and members of the NSCDC officials to a function at Nnewi. He said he was in the same bus with the civil defense officials from Oka to the venue of the Anambra South rally of the Solido ambassadors, which was held at Nnewi on Saturday, while the same bus would also convey them back to Oka. In the meantime, the police authorities in Imo State have arrested the suspected killers of a divisional police officer and an inspector at Hiazu in the local government area of the state. Parading the suspect at the command headquarters in Owerri, the Imo State capital, the Commissioner of Police, Danjuma Aboki, said the relentless efforts of the police and other security operatives in unraveling the killers of the police officers led to the invasion of indigenous people of Biafra Eastern Security Network camp at Umuyi in Ngo-Kwala local government area of the state. It stated that while the several terrorists were dislodged, several arms and ammunition were recovered from the miscreants. According to the police commissioner, some other criminals were also arrested for various criminal cases ranging from IPOP, ES and terrorism activities, armed robbery, murder, stealing, receiving stolen property, cultism, and unlawful possession of firearms and ammunition. Operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency (NDLEA) have recovered illicit substances bound for Europe, United Arab Emirates, and Asia. NDLEA spokesman Femi Babafemi said the illicit substances intercepted included various quantities of methamphetamine and opioids concealed in hands of new jean trousers, dolls, buttons, local soap, and tins of middle beverage. Noting that the operation was carried out by operatives of the Directorate of Operations and General Investigation at Korea Houses in Lagos, they said some of the items seized included tramadol, 225 mg, concealed in hands of new jean trousers headed to Cyprus, a shipment of cannabis sativa hidden in heads of dolls going to Dubai, sachets of tramadol, 225 mg, buried in tins of middle beverage going to UAE, and another set of same drug hidden in local soap, also going to UAE. In another operation in Lagos, operatives have also recovered 393 kilograms of cannabis in a shop at Mushin, while a suspect, Johnson Enoye, who deals in Canadian loud, was arrested by the police at Victoria Island. Christians have been admonished to exhibit the spirit of forgiveness to inherit God's kingdom. This admonition was given by the Bishop Akoko Anglican Diocese, Right Reverend Jacob Bada, at the funeral ceremony for late Mrs. Felicia Owolo, held at the St. John's Anglican Church at Baliku, Arigidi Akoko. J. Powers reports that the deceased, who lived for 91 years, died on the 28th of October this year.
To pay their last respects to Mrs. Felicia Owolo, a woman seen as a mother to all, family members were joined by friends and well-wishers at the St. John's Anglican Church, Agbaluku, Arigidi, Akoko. The Bishop of Akoko Anglican Diocese, Right Reverend Jacob Bada, in his sermon said the deceased lived a life of simplicity and commitment to the service of God and called on the congregation to learn to forgive at all times.
If you live life for yourself, you don't go up. When you live for others, God bless you. When you love and when you learn to give to satisfy others, spiritually, morally, and otherwise, and you turn their lives around, you turn their ministry around, God will be the center of your home.
Thereafter, the remains of late Mrs. Felicia Owolo were taken to her residence for the dust-to-dust rite. The Commissioner for Women Affairs and Social Development, Adebumi Oshadaun, commiserated with the deceased's family, charging them to emulate the virtues of their late mother.
A woman of faith, a woman who stood by her husband and who served the Lord. And that's what we are saying. For women, there could be challenges, but women who serve the Lord, they always have the grace of this last future.
Children of the deceased described their late mother as an embodiment of beauty, care, and will be greatly missed.
Mama is a very kind-hearted person, very lovely woman. We all die, so Mama lived she died at a ripe age. I really pray that God should repose her soul.
Mama
was a very gentle woman, very simple, easygoing, and prayerful. I will miss Mama. It's only God that can console me.
The free-giving spirit. I wish to have that, and I wish for everyone that lived after us to have that.
A reception was thereafter held for guests who came to identify with the family. Late Mrs. Felicia Owolo was born on the 9th of August 1932 to the family of late Pa Yusuf Abe of Ede Quarters in Agbaluku, Arigidi Akoko. Though born to Muslim parents, after marriage converted to Christianity and was devoted to the cause of the gospel of Christ. The deceased, who was described as a lover of peace and a supportive society, died on the 28th of October this year at the age of 91. Joy Pius, Osrc News.
It was a glorious exit for late Chief Gabriel Adegbenro as his remains were laid to rest in the ancient town of Ilaramokin in the Federal Local Government area of Ondo State. St. Michael's Anglican Church, venue of the burial service, was filled to capacity with eminent personalities who came to pay Pa Adegbenro last respect. Osrc correspondent Zuma BME reports that the deceased was the father of former Commissioner for Works in Ondo State, Boyi Adegbenro, and the head of Accounts Department, Orange 94.5 FM, Lucy Ajayi. This report is presented from our studios.
It was a convergence of politicians, media practitioners, academics, community leaders, among others, at Ilaramokin in a federal local government area of Ondo State. They were in the ancient town to honor the children of Pa Gabriel Adegbenro as they bid their father farewell. At the funeral service, former Bishop of Akure Anglican Diocese, Right Reverend Michael Ikpimwe, commended the deceased for ensuring that the children were educated. While saying death is a necessary end of every human, Bishop Ikpimwe said Pa Adegbenro lived his life for humanity and God. He admonished members of the congregation to emulate the virtues of the deceased and always seek the kingdom of God.
Adegbenro was a treasurer of this church. And God's treasurer,
The children were joined by family members and well-wishers to thank God for surviving their father. Some of the guests, including the former governor of Ondo State, Dr. Olusegun Mimiko, the former deputy governor of Ondo State, Agbola Ajayi, the chief of staff to Governor Akeredolu, Olugbenga Ali, and the chairman, Osrc Media Group, Mr. Kunle Adebayo, described late Adegbenro as a man of good character and knowledge.
We thank God for his life, had a blessed life of service to man and God, trained his children, and all the children bear testimony to the character of the man.
Honest, faithful, a community leader by excellence, who lived a fulfilled life.
He lived his life for his people, for his children. And it is my prayer that God will accept him in his bosom.
At this period in time of our life, to find men who deliberately dedicated themselves to the development of society and of their family. I think this is shown in the caliber of people who have come to celebrate his life after death.
After the service, there was dust-to-dust rites where they betrayed emotions. There was an elaborate reception as a live band provided melodious songs. Some of the children said the vacuum created by the death of their father would be difficult to fill.
He will use anything that he has to take care of us. So, he's a nice man.
If you are in trouble, he's in trouble. If you are sick, he's sick. So Father is the Father that when we are sick, if any one of us is sick, instead of allowing our mother to go to the hospital to sleep with us, he will be sleeping with us.
He makes sure that all the children, his children, got the necessary education. He encourages us. He was a father in the millions. I can never forget him.
Pa Adegbenro, a community leader, died at the age of 87.
But now to the foreign scene, Sierra Leonean President Julius Blau says his government's response to an attempted last week would be dictated by respect for the law. It was reported that armed attackers in the early hours of 26 November stormed a military armory, 2 barracks, 2 prisons, and 2 police stations, confronting security forces. According to Information Minister Chenon Ba, the fighting left 21 people dead, including 14 soldiers, a policeman, a prison guard, a security guard, a woman, and 3 assailants. He said 13 soldiers and 1 civilian suspected of involvement in the coup are in detention. Police have since released photos and names of 32 men and 2 women wanted as fugitives, including 7 retired soldiers and police officers. The West African region has been marked by a series of coups since 2020 in countries like Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger, Chad, and Guinea. A man identified as a German national has been killed and 2 others injured in a knife and hammer attack on a street in central Paris. Officials confirmed that the attack occurred on Croix du Grenelle near the Eiffel Tower yesterday. A 26-year-old French national known to security services has been arrested, and anti-terrorism prosecutors have opened an investigation. France's Interior Minister Gerald Darmanin said the victim was with his wife when he was attacked and fatally stabbed. Mr. Darmanin said the attackers told police he was upset because so many Muslims are dying in Afghanistan and in Palestine. He said the suspect served 4 years in jail after being convicted for planning another attack in 2016 and was on the French Security Services watch list. Before we go tonight, let's take another look at the major stories. Staff of the Ondo State Judicial Corporation shone bright at the grand finale of the 2023 edition of Nigeria Union of Journalists Ondo State Council Award Night. The Federal Inland Revenue Service was granted a full waiver on accumulated penalties and interest for outstanding tax liabilities. We brought you also that Nigeria's push for the enhancement of regional security to guarantee peace and economic growth in West Africa. And finally, you heard that Sierra Leone President Julius Bio says his government's response to an attempted coup last week will be dictated by respect for the law. And that's the news. Thank you so much for watching. Good night.